truth! Fake! Liar! You liar!
Well, it is Sunday Night Live, and it is the zoo. It's zoo time, folks, and a happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there. And I happen to be one of them. I myself, being an experienced father, having been around. And I tell you what, being a father is quite interesting. Different than being a mother, no doubt. But being a father, you're there to provide for the family, to protect the family, to raise children, which includes discipline, instruction, and leading by example. I was not a father until I was 30, just under 30, when I had my first son. And it was quite an experience, right? That feeling of, oh shit, what have I done? Right? First, there's the, being married and then whoops, oh shit, my wife is pregnant. And then, but when you're holding your child, you are now responsible. Now, not everyone who has children is a father. Democrats are sperm donors. A lot of Democrats think father's not even needed. Yeah, if you want to raise an animal, but if you want to raise responsible children, good children who are going to grow up and be productive unto themselves and successful for themselves, you've got to teach them that. There needs to be a father there in that atmosphere. And I was extremely excited and proud and scared to death, right? What wouldn't you do for your children, right? Everything. You give them what they need when they need it. And conversely, you deny them what they want unless they've earned it. It's incredible, because having a children is more than just 10 seconds of, oh, right? It's more than that. It's incredible. But, before I was a father, I often found myself in the role of mentor with men my age or younger. And then even as a father, I found myself mentoring other kids, other children that were around. And then, something interesting happened. My youngest son, Lucas, he, as early as like fourth grade, became a guardian to his friends and a protector of his friends and a provider to a certain degree and helping his friends. And of course, as many of you know, or all of you should, if you know, Lucas is a father, and his son is just over a year. And so I'm a grandfather as well. And one of the first things he said to me was, "I get it, Dad. Now I get it." And it just made my heart feel so big and happy to know that he gets it. He understands. He knows. But, he's much younger than me when he decided to have a son, and, in his early 20s versus me, waiting till I was 30. It's just, it is incredible, folks, to be a father, to have all of that responsibility rest on your shoulders. And even today, the people I work around, especially men in their 20s, they treat me kind of like a father. And they listen to what I have to say. And they say things like, "I never really thought of it that way. Thanks." And I really needed to hear that. Thanks. And, I like your attitude. I like the way you approach problems. I like the way you fix things. I like the way you handle stuff. It just makes you proud. That's what being this father thing is about. And then I look around at the United States of America, and then I look even further across and around the world, and I'm like, good golly. This world needs all of our help, folks. They need real fathers. The world needs real mothers. I know it's Father's Day being celebrated, but mothers, we got to have them all. We do. In fact, I know I've made an impact because one of my neighbors at the RMZ sent me a text message today and sent some pictures. Sent some pictures of the RMZ. Number one, I was about 2 miles from the ocean up in the jungle. So my neighbor sent me this picture down at the coast. It's a very rocky coast. Beautiful. Beautiful. That was 2 miles from where I was at the RMZ, folks. And here's the yurt. Remember that? In the jungle? Oh, man. What a place. That was so incredible. So incredible. But we're almost 4 years later. Almost 4 years later. I got there on July 11th and left and got back to the United States of America in the South on, Halloween. And I made it back just before the election because I decided it was important enough, folks, that instead of having this as a backyard and a playground, right? Instead of being in a tropical paradise, hunting chickens, evading whatever the hell was in the jungle that made noise at night, the gunshots, the explosions that would happen. I'm pretty sure I was in a war zone. I'm literally, folks, gunshots at night. Occasionally a motorcycle would go by. It seemed like it was miles away, but it sounded like it was right in the yurt. It was just incredible. What an experience. Yeah, someone had, they opened the pipes up on their motorcycle and just rattled everything. But the rain, the jungle, fucking mangoes and avocados. You guys remember Wilson, the chickens, the guava, the bananas, the avocados were the best though. Good golly. The passion fruit, the star fruit. It was incredible. But I had to leave that. I had to leave the RMZ to come back here to America because shit hit the fan. And I knew that I had a very important role to play here. That there was something important, that I couldn't just hide in the jungle. I couldn't just be in the jungle and live. I couldn't swing on a hammock or sit on the deck or hang out under the tent, ride around on the scooter or the green tank. It's kind of funny, people looked at that thing like, what the fuck is that doing here? Anyways, happy Father's Day to all you fathers. And happy America Day to everyone who loves the red, white, and blue, our precious flag, right? The stars and stripes. But America is under attack. And it needs leaders. It needs real men and real women, real fathers, real mothers, fathers who know that they're here to raise their family, protect their family. And once your kids grow up and out, you're not done. You're still a father. You're still a leader. You still matter. And I think about this kind of stuff. Right? We have a role to play. I'm a father figure to every kid out there, to every other father, right? We all encourage each other as Americans, as free men. It's just, it's so critical and so important to me to continue that and think that way, right? To think that way. It's incredible. Anyways, I know I get sentimental. My older son, John, I like to say, Dad, quit being so sentimental. I'm like, son, it's just the way I am. I'm a mean bastard when I need to be. And I have a soft teddy bear-like heart for those that I love. For those that I love. And I love all you guys because you're good Americans out there. You support freedom. You support liberty. You support free speech. You support the Second Amendment. You love our country. And you know now that shit has hit the fan, and you understand now that we have enemies, foreign and domestic. It'd be really easy, folks. It'd be simple for me to get on a plane and fly back to the RMZ. But that's not what I have. I have this with you guys here in the bunker in Studio R. The R Syndicate Studio. Anyways, let's get on with the show. We've got a lot to cover. If you have something to say, super chat button right up there. We'll get your questions right down here. A $50 or more super chat buys a Glenlivet 15-year single malt Scotch whiskey that's flammable, by the way. I think we had some fun with that. Almost burn myself to pieces. Woo! Oh, yeah. Anyways, let's start the show off this week with a $50 super chat donation right there from none other than Darcy T. And she says this: the G7 met earlier this week, and one of their topics was using the $50 billion of frozen Russian assets to aid Ukraine. Down the hatch, Darcy. Semper Fi. Thank you for all your support, Darcy, and all of you. And God bless America. Whew. I have one little correction for Darcy. I believe that it's $500 billion in frozen U.S. bonds, bills, T-bills, notes, whatever you want to call it, $500 billion. In any event, American businessmen, banks invested more than that in Russia, and Russia is just going to take back everything. Every time the United States government, a la Biden, the Democrats, the World Economic Forum, the banking cartel, every time they screw with Putin, it hurts us more. So, Darcy continues, they ended up, meaning the G7, agreeing on providing a $50 billion loan package for Ukraine, with the first disbursement starting this year. So they didn't actually give the money to Ukraine outright, but are still using Russian assets to benefit Ukraine and Zelensky. What are your thoughts on how Russia might respond? It has been my experience since the Soviet Empire fell, the communists fell in the early 1990s, that I've watched the Russians. And Vladimir Putin came on the scene pretty shortly thereafter, and has guided the completely crushed and ruined Soviet Union and raised Russia back up to a country that's prosperous and proud of itself. Putin has not responded in any way other than in kind. Meaning my prediction is if the United States of America steals $500 billion from Russia, Russia will confiscate $500 billion from American and European banks and countries that have invested in Russia. Now, of course, we all know that this means no American company will ever invest in a Russian business, at least in our lifetimes. And conversely, Russia is not going to buy a single European Union, European nation, United States of America, Canadian, Australian bond at all. Now, but you're going to say, but John, Putin didn't respond in kind. No one invaded Russia. There's a problem. Russia is being encroached upon by NATO. And at least 1 year prior to the Russian special military operation in Ukraine, the Azov Battalion, who is now getting the Azov Battalion is getting direct support from the U.S. military now. Direct support to the Azov Nazis. They are Nazis. before the special military operation or invasion of the eastern provinces of Ukraine by Russia, the Azov Battalion was in there committing genocide or mass murder of ethnic Russians living there. Now, you might be asking, why are ethnic Russians living in what was considered to be eastern Ukraine? Well, there's been disputes. Oh, yeah, lots of disputes over where were the actual boundaries. Now, the Russians, Vladimir Putin, claim that Crimea, the Crimean Peninsula, which was part of Ukraine, has always been part of the Russian Empire. So the empire strikes back, and they took Crimea several years ago. But those eastern provinces of Ukraine were also considered part of the Russian Empire. So Putin, he said, you guys go ahead and vote. And they voted to become part of Russia again, the Russian Federation. So when you ask, what are your thoughts on how Russia might respond? Russia will respond in kind. They had their people threatened, and they said, then we'll take our people and take them back, free them, and then let them vote and let them decide. The United States of America decided to freeze Russian assets on the SWIFT system. Well, Russia froze American and European assets that were invested in Russia. Russia, China, and the BRICS nations now have this thing called Bridge, a replacement for the United States European-dominated SWIFT monetary system that's used for international settlement of debts. That is to say, international transactions. Any country wants to do business with another country, they've got to go through their banking system, the SWIFT system. So the Russians, the Chinese, and the other nations, let's see, India, Iran, China, Russia, Brazil, South Africa, I believe the Saudis, and I think a total of a dozen nations are literally in the BRICS, and a couple dozen more have applied, and more are coming. They have, I believe, 75% of the world population wants to be part of the BRICS system, their Bridge system, their payment system. So Russia says, we don't need you, America. We don't need your bonds, and we will no longer invest in you. You guys are in big trouble. So every time they try hurting Russia, and I think this is important to understand, Russia responds in kind. They don't want Russia in their system, fine. They have their own system. They want to put long-range missiles inside Ukraine and then tell Ukraine, you go ahead and fire those American missiles into Russia. So Putin responds in kind. He sends warships out and nuclear weapon-equipped submarines out into the Atlantic, and they're now here off the coast of the United States. 2 surface ships and 1 submarine at least showed up in Cuba, off the coast of Havana. Lots of pictures taken, very public. And then they started doing missile drills off the coast of Florida on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast-ish side. Not on the coast, but I'm closer to the west than the east. In any event, right, the American Navy and the Canadian Navy are down there just dicking around with them. But that was his response. Okay, you want to give Ukraine missiles? We'll give Cuba and Mexico and Venezuela long-range missiles, ICBMs, and quite possibly, folks, nuclear weapons. Now, I pretty much guarantee that Putin will not hand over the nuclear weapons. They will be controlled by Russian troops. I doubt he'll give a bunch of lunatics those weapons, but most people don't realize that. They think that you're just going to hand them over. The same way U.S. missiles and missile systems, all the programs are coded in English. The instructions are in English. The fire button is red, but it says fire on it. And American English-speaking military personnel are over there with the Ukrainians, teaching them how to use our systems. So the Russians will do the same thing. But I doubt they're going to leave nuclear missiles in the hands. Now, the scary part is the Russians have hypersonic missiles. That is to say, they fly, 4,000 miles per hour? Faster than a speeding bullet. very fast. They cannot be hit. They cannot be shot down. They cannot be stopped. They can't be seen. They can be detected, but they move too fucking fast. So if they were to launch hypersonic missiles from Cuba and target Pensacola, Florida, target MacDill Air Force Base in Florida. Pensacola is a Navy base, by the way. You got Marines there and naval personnel. They could target Fort Hood in Texas. They could target Fort Benning, Georgia. Who knows what else they could target and what the range of these are. Very scary. So if the United States wants to continue to allow Ukraine, with the assistance of American personnel, firing missiles into their country, we could have some disaster here. I don't think they're going to use nukes, but they will respond in kind. If Ukraine targets fuel refineries or oil and gas bunkers, Mexico might be used, or Havana, or Venezuela, or we could have ships fire from the offshore. By the way, Iran also has, I believe, some submarines. Don't know how good they are, but hey, over 100 years ago, even 150 years ago, they had submarines. So I'm pretty sure the Iranians can probably build a decent enough submarine. I doubt it's nuclear powered, though. In any event, right? I think Russia will respond in kind. For me personally, I am not afraid or scared of Russia and where I'm at in Florida. I would be more upset and concerned if I lived next to Pensacola, Fort Hood, Fort Benning, MacDill Air Force Base, or if I was over back in Cherry Point or back in Camp Lejeune or at Fort Bragg, which is always going to be Fort Bragg. And I would especially be concerned if I lived anywhere near Washington, D.C. and or New York City. Very scary business, folks. Anyways, Darcy, thank you for the great $50 super chat donation. Oh, I tell you what. It is crazy, folks. It is quite crazy. So let's do this. Let's move on with the show. Chin Music has done a $52.23 super chat donation. $50 plus a 223. Thank you, Chin Music, and a happy Father's Day to you. And once again, a congratulations on the betrothal of your daughter to a real man, a real American. His daughter's going to get married. Congratulations, brother. You are a true father who raised children and is a mentor to young men and women everywhere. Woo! Prost. Cheers. And Semper Fi. All righty. Let's see. I think we've got something from Chin Music. Mr. Uman and Jolene, they're in there. They're out there. They're here with the Blue Wrenches. And here we go. This is what Chin Music wrote. He said, Happy Father's Day. He says, and you don't have to be a dad to be celebrated today. My dad was absolute garbage, so this day can be tough. Chin Music, you and I have a lot in common, man. He says, but I learned about mentorship because of it. My coaches in AAU and high school knew I was struggling and lifted me through it. Maybe that's why I teach youth sports now. Who knows? What I do know is this: the title father is earned and not bestowed. So for all of you who've given of yourselves to make the world a better place, raise your glass with John and have a well-earned toast. Semper Fi, gentlemen and fathers everywhere. I also want to say Happy Father's Day to Vaughn, who has more children that he's sired than the old woman in the shoe. And also a Happy Father's Day to Mr. Uman, who has raised some great sons and a daughter. I've had the privilege of meeting them and speaking with them. And he's done a great job as well. He's as a great father as well. I tell you what, I had a great, I love my dad, and I love my stepdad, Lyle, who has since passed a couple of years ago. Great men in my life have taught me to be the man that I am today. Not always perfect, I got to tell you. Not always perfect, but, nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect. Anyways, let's do some more super chats. What do you guys want to talk about? It has hit the fan. We just got through a weekend. Yeah, it's Father's Day, but the real world is out there. Bad things are happening. Good things are happening. People are waking up. What are we going to talk about next? It's up to you guys, and it's Dan Erickson checking in. Woo! With a $5 super chat. And this is what he has to say. This is great. Dennis Quaid. He's an actor in Hollywood. I'll tell you what, Dan, because of what Dennis Quaid said, I decided to watch the movie Inner Space, which was a comedy, action, romance thing from the 80s, starring Dennis Quaid and Martin Short, and Little Geek, and Meg Ryan, and many other actors. But Dennis Quaid says, "Let's go, Brandon. Joe Biden has failed the country." And it's interesting that more actors, more celebrities, more famous people, more sports characters are stepping up and saying, hey, we got a problem here. Right? We got a problem here. And I'll cover this here in a second. Now, Dennis Quaid, according to Dan Erickson, said, he said, Orange Man is an asshole, but he is my asshole. Hey, look, if anyone knows asshole, it's me. Right? I have been called that more probably than any of you ever have, but that's all right. I've had feminists call me that ad nauseum, left-wing fruitcakes, ding-dongs, dipshits, fruit salad suckers, right? Communists, socialists, fascists, Democrats. They all call me dirty names. Good. But Trump has stepped up like a true, you could say, father, leader. And I don't want to say he's a father figure for the nation, but I think men look at him and go, holy cow, that dude had some kids, right? He cares about the Trump family. Unlike Brandon, whose family is a criminal cartel, no doubt. And I'll say this, yeah, if Orange Man is an asshole, he is my asshole. Truly, folks, he's getting more support than you know. In fact, I'm going to take Dan Erickson's comment here, and if you have something to say, super chat button up there or down here, we've got the Venmo, PayPal, and CashApp. You on Sunday Night Live, you get to control the show. You get to pick the topics. You have the questions, comments, statements. You have the prognostications, the look at history, the look forward into the future. You get to talk. Anyways, to continue with this comment, right? We've got some unlikely support for Trump coming from some unlikely places. Now, I don't know who the hell this guy is. I'm going to try and say his name properly. Kwame Kilpatrick. Sounds like an African Irishman. Kwame Kilpatrick. He is the former mayor of Detroit. And he's black, by the way. And he endorses President Trump. Here's his quote. He says, I can never thank President Trump enough for what he's done for me. Does that sound like a man who's got the respect of people and he's earned it? Earned it. Yes, sir, Bob. And now I'm going to give you some more unlikely support that has come for Trump. A former Democrat donor, not only a former Democrat donor, but a donor from California, right? A Democrat from California who formerly donated to the Democrat is now going to back Donald Trump. You want to talk about wild, folks? That's right. It's not just celebrities. It's money. It's politicians. It's people from places you never thought it would happen. Never thought it would happen. Okay, Mr. Ooman, let's roll. Jolene, who's up next? We've got Nancy Keg with a $20 super chat donation. She says, this is for the Prepared Mind Father's Day and for my 72nd birthday today. God bless and happy birthday to you, Nancy Keg. You're a gem, an absolute gem. Happy 72. I talked to my mother yesterday. She's 77, I think. She told me, I said, Mom, you don't sound like you're a day past 70. Anyways, it's a beautiful thing that you've lived this long, Nancy, that you've seen as much as you've seen, that you know what you know. And see, that's the important thing, right? In our youth, we had energy, enthusiasm, right? We had strength, we had all of these things. But as we grow, we kind of trade that youth for wisdom. And you can always be courageous. But I think we're all learning, male, female, man, woman, father, mother, American, Canadian, Australian. If you're from the, right, we're all learning the value of courage. And I want everyone to understand this. Courage. It takes courage to grow up. It takes courage to get married and have children. It doesn't need to be an accident. It takes courage to be a parent. It takes courage to carry a rifle. It takes courage to stand knowing you're going to go to war. It takes courage when you come back from that and you're grown up. It takes courage to face your political enemies, your social enemies out there in the world. It takes courage. And you can have that in your youth and you can have it in your wisdom. But courage is what we all need to start growing into and getting used to exhibiting and handing courage to our enemies, not for them to use, but for them to be afraid of. Be courageous. Dennis Quaid, you'll never get another fucking job in Hollywood. Unless I guess you do a movie with Jim Caviezel or Mel Gibson, right? You're not going to get a job anymore. That's courage, right? He just forfeited his money. How many of you have lost your jobs because you wouldn't bend the knee or you wouldn't allow that stupid rainbow flag to be flown in your face and put up with that crap every day? Or you wouldn't let HR tell you that you're not allowed to be happy with yourself, but you've got to celebrate everyone else's fruitiness. Right? That had a little bit to do, my friends, with me resigning back in California. It was pre-fruitcake flag, but there was a lot of shit going on. You've got to have courage to face what is wrong and do what is right. So God bless you for it. All right. Jolene, where do we want to roll next? And it is Jeff Poor with a $2 super chat donation. And he says, cold dead hand, never surrender. I know what he's talking about, folks. When I grew up, and I think I was 12-ish, 12, 13, 14, all right in there. And I think I've shared this story. I picked up an American Rifleman or a hunting magazine, and I was in Pioneer, California, in the foothills outside of Sacramento. And there's this gas station, a good solid half mile up the road. I used to walk there, and get a Slurpee or get a Coke or whatever. And there was this magazine there, and I was interested in dirt bikes and guns. Dirt bikes and guns. And I picked up this gun magazine, and I read it. And there was a story about a father and a son. And they were talking about gun control. And the father had his old 1911 and the ammo that he had left, and he and his son were going to go out in a field and bury it. And this is the way they thought back then. Well, if the government's going to make our guns outlawed and illegal, we'll just bury them. For what purpose? See, back then as a kid, I thought, well, fuck that. Let's fight, And I became a gun enthusiast more than I had already. But the saying was, you can have my gun when you pry it from my cold, dead fingers. And then in the movie, Red Dawn, when the communists parachuted into Colorado, right, the commies parachuted and started killing everybody. they showed some guy's pickup truck with that bumper sticker on there. You can have my gun when you take it for my cold dead fingers. And a communist went over, and there was a man laying on the ground holding onto his gun. And the guy stepped on the hand and pulled the gun out of it. They will do that. These communists up in Washington, D.C., these socialists in the state capitals, these fascist pigs of business, corporatism, they would like that. So I understand cold, dead hand, Jeff. Never surrender, folks. Never surrender. Well, hopefully, if they ever come to get mine, they'll get an empty rifle, handgun, shotgun, etc. To the last bullet, never surrender. Jeff, thank you, sir, very much for your great super chat donation on this Father's Day. Jolene, man, who wants to roll next? We're right at 300 people live. And we've got Chelsea Polzine checking in with a $49.99. I'll just call that. I'm going to round that baby up. I'm getting all revved up now. All revved. Oh, crud, I pulled the cap off. Whoops. There we go. Ooh, mother's milk right there, Chelsea. $50 super chat donation. And I appreciate and need the support, folks. You guys make sure this show happens. Semper Fi to you, Chelsea, and to all you. Happy Father's Day to all you men out there. Oop. Little cramp there, the old hands. Oh, I'll just switch hands. Hate it when that happens. This whole getting old thing is crazy. Thank you, Chelsea. Had to say a little prayer there, too. Very good. Woo! That'll wake you up in the morning, boys. Folks, Trump is getting stronger. Trump is getting more powerful. Trump, you don't give a damn. In fact, I did the thumbnail for this video. It was one of the Trump boat parades. He gets truck parades, tractor parades, car parades, semi parades, freeway parades, downtown parades, and boat parades. Boat parades, not just in Florida, folks, in California too. Everywhere he goes, up in Michigan, boat parades, crazy stuff. And it is your turn on this show. I've got a lot to talk about, but it's your show. Super chat donation right here and there will get you, folks. If you can be famous, you want to be famous, you ask the right question, hell, I'll give you some answers. But get this. We know that as Biden gets weaker and weaker and weaker, as he gets weaker, it's because Trump is getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And the rumor is growing, folks. There was a prediction by an analyst from JP Morgan. I think it was a couple months ago. Couple months, month and a half, 2 months, said, hey, look, Biden's going to step out sometime after Super Tuesday and, before the election, obviously, and they're going to replace him. They're going to replace him. Well, they flew out the name there, Michelle Obama. Oh, I want to say happy Father's Day to Michelle as well. Couldn't help that. Had to do it. Oh, man, for a woman, she sure has a big dick, you know it. I tell you, that thing swings around and knocks her dress out of the way. Almost makes me jealous. Okay. Anyways, no support for Michelle, who I believe has been disbarred or had her license pulled as an attorney, kind of like Hillary and Bill. But no support there. And she's untested. He, she, he. I don't know what his pronouns. I don't know. And I don't know what the pronouns are for Michelle Michael Obama. And then the other one was Gavin Newsom. What a fucking clown that guy is. He is the Joker, folks. They painted his face up like he looks like a Joker. He is a complete disaster. Complete disaster. He's no good. But Joe was going to step down. In fact, Florida's own representative, Anna Paulina Luna, says she has heard Biden will likely be replaced as the Democrat nominee. Now, what that means is Biden is not going to, you see, if Biden is the nominee, that means all the ballots get printed. So if they're going to make a change, if they're going to pull their quarterback, if they're going to pull their quarterback out of the game, they're going to need to do it pretty quick here before the nomination takes place. I don't think you can just substitute fighters. I don't think that's how that shit works. But again, right, it came from a bank analyst. It's been on the circuit, but now we're starting to hear about it from Washington, D.C. politicians who are basically insiders. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. You guys have some super chat thoughts. Let's get them on the screen. Jolene, who's up next? There's Jeff Poor again. And he's got another $2 super chat donation. And he says, white, deplorable, pure blood. Well, there's your deplorable. I have dropped the L. I'm no longer a deplorable. I'm a deplorable. And this coffee company is www.cafefe.com. They are the Prepared Mind preferred coffee supplier. In fact, they're the only coffee supplier. And it's good damn coffee. There's no sense in me going out and buying anyone else's coffee. Terrific coffee, folks. I strongly recommend it. Now, white, deplorable, pure blood. First off, pure blood means you did. Thank you, Jolene. Pure blood means you did not get the Jim Jones juice. A lot of people, no Jim Jones juice, no thanks. Remember when we were told, well, you guys are all going to die, and we're like, take my chances, tip the hat at them. Still waiting for everyone who is unvaccinated to die. Not happening. But then we got blamed for other people getting sick. And they're like, well, Jim Jones juice won't stop people from spreading and contracting the cerveza bug. It's like, really? Then what's the fucking point of it? And folks, this gets better. It gets crazier. It truly does. I told you that in Japan, the government is publicly apologizing. Members of the government are publicly apologizing for it. And now the European Union has said that the testing and approval for the Jim Jones juice in Europe was done unlawfully, illegally, improperly. Rut-row, crazy stuff. So, he also said, well, white, it's so awful to be white. There's deadly sins out there. There's the 7 deadly sins. One of them's pride. The other one was jealousy, right? Envy, if you will. Deadly sins, 7 deadly sins. There's also sloth and gluttony, a couple other things. But if you look at the left, now, why is Pride Month, and we're in Pride Month, right? The left celebrates Pride Month, and then they hate white, they hate Christian, they hate Uncle Toms, right? Okay, you're black Republicans. They hate all of us. They hate. I think hate is probably a deadly sin also, right? Because it's awful. Anyways, but look at the left. They're full of hate. They have pride in the most filthy, disgusting things. Their perversions are off the hook. They're jealous and envious of everything that everyone else does and has. Take a look at Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, right? Straight. They want to attack her. In fact, Serena Williams, incredible tennis player who's also also black, says, hey, don't pay attention. They're just jealous. Yeah, jealousy, envy. How about these giant, gluttonous, fat feminists out there? If you're overweight like me, I get it. You can be overweight. But when you are a glutton, I love seeing these gluttonous 400-pound women screaming, My body, my choice. It's like, who the hell would fuck you, right? Crazy stuff. They own the 7 deadly sins, folks. They own the shit out of that. And it never ends well, folks. It never ends well. Anyways, woo, I can feel that scotch going to work. I'm trying not to get myself in trouble here. Folks, welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. It is Sunday Night Live. It is Father's Day, and we've got a lot to talk about. Before Jolene pulls that off, cafefe.com right there. That will get you a discount on the coffee and get you on in there and let them know that we sent you. So use that link or copy it and paste it, whatever you got to do. Good stuff. Absolutely good stuff. Great coffee. And thank you again for the great super chat. Let's do some more. Let's have some more fun while we're at it. Dan Erickson's back with another $5 super chat donation. He says, the earliest memory I can remember is my dad teaching me how to swim when I was 4 or 5 years old. Rest in peace, Dad. He passed in 2014. Teach your kids to swim. Now, when I check out social media to see what the hell's going on, what people are talking about, I found it to be interesting to see what people are talking about. One of them was, if you grew up in the 80s, this is how you were taught to swim. And there was a dad standing on the end of the dock with his kids, and he like grabs his son and he just fucking throws them in the water. I tell you, man. I tell you. Dads are amazing. Right? Moms are amazing, but dads, they just got a different way, right? Dad, really, they got a different way. They discipline different than moms. Everyone's got their technique. But I have to say that, you know, as a kid, I was like, why'd you do that to me? I'm just a kid. You get older, you're like, now I understand why they did that to me and why they said the things they said and why they did the things they did, right? And why they're like, get the hell out of the house. You're an adult now, right? You know, why I talked to the Marine Corps recruiter in the summer between my junior and senior years in high school, right? And I talked to one, I think Saturday morning. It had to be Saturday morning because why else would I open the door to a Marine recruiter at my house, right? And talk to him at the kitchen table, Sergeant Bennett. And then that night, Sergeant Bennett and Staff Sergeant Taylor showed up at my work. Said, get in the car. You're going to the MEPS. Your mom has signed the papers. And it was almost like they were policemen, right? They're wearing their dress blues and they show up and they're like, get in the car. I'm like, oh shit. Right? What the fuck did I do? Good stuff. Anyways, yeah, that's what parents do, man. They teach some lessons, and dads, they're incredible. They're incredible. Anyways, thank you, Dan. That's a great memory to share. Thank you, sir, very much. Jolene, where do we want to roll next? Who's up next? And it's Inigo Montoya. And I do not think that means what you think that means. And he says, when they come for me, I will ask them to complete this puzzle. You, my father, prepared to die. It's you killed my father, prepared to die. Inigo Montoya from the great movie, The Princess Bride. One of my all-time favorite movies, sadly, was directed by Meathead himself, Rob Reiner. But the story was a S. Morgan Stern story. Great book. I read the book. I've seen the movie. Great story, great lessons. But honoring your father. Right? This character here, this Inigo Montoya guy. Great character from the movie. You won't see him in a whole lot of other movies or recognize him. One of my all-time favorite movies, though. Thank you very much for sharing. And a $9.99 super chat donation to boot. Thank you, Mr. Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die. Great movie. It's a movie about love, fencing, fighting, pirates, revenge. If you haven't seen it, see it. It doesn't have any wokeness to it. In fact, the woman in there was a damsel in distress, old school style, right? And the men all showed courage and bravery and cowardice and fear. It's a great movie, great movie. And if you looked at America today, a lot of people would say America is dead. I would say America is mostly dead. Not all dead, mostly dead. So we can be saved. If you know that movie, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at my shot glass there. Woo! Want some more of that good stuff. Anyways, I was just talking about the Jim Jones juice a minute ago, and Darcy T sent me this. A soccer goalkeeper, one of the best in Europe, died age 26. Suddenly, age 26, super athlete, died. He recently played an international game against Belgium just a few days ago. On the 5th of June, 10 days ago. Dead. Super athlete, dead. Unbelievable, folks. This has got to stop, but it won't, because so many people have taken it. In fact, the powers that be, right? The World Economic Forum, the banking cartels, the Democrats and socialists and communists everywhere around the world say, hey, if you didn't die from the Jim Jones juice and all the juice boosters, don't worry, we've got a new formula from you. It's the bird flu formula. It's coming out. You can get jacked up with that too. See how that works for you. They're already offering that, folks. For human consumption, they're offering it. It's like, really? Yeah, really. Absolutely, really. Okay. Let us roll on. I've got a ton of stuff to talk about, but Boomer is stepping up first. And he had a Boomer out of Canada with a $20 super chat donation. Oh, good one, man. He says Trump, Nigel Farage, Marine Le Pen, and Geert Wilders are all getting support and gaining support. Now, not only these are leaders, folks. They're leaders within their countries. They are also in Europe, and we're going to find out in our elections in November, are electing ministers of parliament, MPs. In our country, we call them representatives, congressional representatives, and also senators. They're electing them too. In Germany, they lowered the voting age to 16, thinking they get a bunch of youth voters. Fucking youth voters voted for super conservative. Get these illegals out of our country, these immigrants, these scumbags, get them out, right? So people like Trump in America, Marine Le Pen in France, she has been fighting for over a decade, folks, trying to get into a leadership position, right? The president. But we've been getting Emmanuel Macron, who did not marry, apparently, his mother. He married his father, right? Apparently it's now coming out. More common than you know. More common than you know in these leadership positions, I guess. Ms. Parker Bowles, the longtime lover of who now King Charles, the ugliest woman in England. Maybe she is a man. That's a man, baby. That's a man. Anyways, you got Geert Wilders, who's been fighting for over a decade in the Netherlands to make all immigrants either learn the language, the customs, and the law, or GTFO, right? Trump has said when he gets back in office, and he better do this, or I'll vote for impeachment. Day one, you got a lot of work on day one, Trump. You got to send all illegals out of the country, make that proclamation, deport them, free all January 6ers, pardon, nullify everything, start arresting obvious traitors, appoint an attorney general who will support the Constitution and prosecute treason. Get rid of the FBI. Just break it into a billion pieces and let the DOJ do it as the Department of Justice, the DOJ. We don't need the FBI. We got the DOJ and the AG. And we also have the Department of Homeland Security. Throw Mayorkas in prison instantly. The man's a liar. Dr. Fauci instantly thrown in jail. Biden, Obama, the Clintons, everyone instantly in jail. He's got his work cut out, don't you think? All right. Anyways, Marine Le Pen, Nigel Farage. He fought forever to Brexit. He was the leader in England. And he would go to the European Union, and he said that the leader of the European Union looked like a cheap sack of shit, right? Bank teller. And then he apologized to bank tellers for insulting them. Yeah, I can't remember the little dweeb's name at this point. He's been long gone from leadership in the European Union. But Nigel Farage, did get England out of the European Union, out of it. And we need to see the leader, Fico, of Slovakia. You know, it used to be Czechoslovakia. It's a Czech Republic and Slovakia. They tried assassinating him a couple of weeks ago. He's alive. He lived through it. He needs to get their country out of the EU. The leader of Hungary, Viktor Orban, who has said no to their immigrants. They're trying to fine him 200 million euros. He's like, yeah, I wouldn't pay it. Fine. We're not going to pay your bill. Kick us out of the European Union. Fuck you. Right? This is happening, folks. I've heard more than one person say globalism is dead. And if it isn't dead, it's dying on the vine right now. Globalism. We're resorting back to a nationalist world with countries joining unions that are cooperative and beneficial to each other. And if you don't do something beneficial, no one's going to do business with you. You screw people, no one's going to do business with you. It's crazy, folks. Shit is hitting the fan on every single level, from the micro to the macro. So God bless you, Boomer. Thank you, man. Semper Fi to you. The globalists are going to keep poking the bear. He says we can only hope that the globalists don't keep poking the bear in order to stop the November 5th from happening. Oh, I hope they don't. I hope they keep poking the bear. The bear is me and you, right? Justin Turdhole up in Canada. He has shown the world that he is a communist sack of crap, right? He went after Canadians for protesting, for parking their trucks, for saying no more of this lockdown shit, for saying no to the Jim Jones juice. And he attacked them. He stole their property. He froze their bank accounts. He got them fired. He threatened to steal their houses. What a scum, absolute scum Turdhole is. He's on a different level and he's playing a different game than Biden, but scum nonetheless. Don't like him. God, the leaders of our countries, folks, look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Who are these people? Every last one of them trying to sell out their country. Oh, Ireland, folks. Oh, the Irish have elected an anti-immigrant Irishman. If he, yes, please, Oliver. Please pace me, Bo. Pace me. Don't tase me. Pace me. All right, folks. The world is turning. We have the fight. It is our fight to win or lose. Get active. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Okay, thank you, Boomer. Jolene, ooh, man, who be next? And it's Shelly Chavers checking in with a $50 super chat donation, which requires me to have a big-ass shot of scotch. And there's going to come a point. There's going to come a point where it's just, I'll run out of gas, man. We're at 1 hour in. And it has been one hell of a weekend. Now, just so you all know, I've only had 2 drinks this weekend until the show. So I've been like giving my liver a break. Shelly, Semper Fi, and thank you. Oh, power that baby down. Man, it just gets better and better and better. Shelly says, John, my husband and I loved your footage at the RMZ, but we're very glad you returned. Happy Father's Day from the bottom of both our hearts. That touches me. Thank you. Thank you so much. You and your husband, Shelly. That makes me very happy. She said, P.S. Have a drink, but don't share it, Big. But don't share it, Big Mike. Woo! Wow, I tell you, that just warms me. Wait. Was it the scotch that warmed me up, or was it just the great sentiment? And thank you so much. I am a sentimental guy, folks. I really am. And when I hear of tragedy, it breaks my heart. And when I hear of good things, it warms and helps my heart grow. And I miss the RMZ, and it was great to hear from my friends there, Heather and Phil, who lived across the jungle. It was funny. I had a Phil on one side of the jungle and a Phil on the other side of the jungle. And it was good times there, but I'm back here. Yeah. One Phil was federal law enforcement. The other Phil was a Marine. It was quite an interest. I don't think I've ever shared that. Don't think so. Just you're like through the jungle, go for a walk through the jungle. Good stuff, crazy stuff. Anyways, Shelly, I'm glad you loved the footage at the RMZ. That was one hell of an adventure to go there in the middle of the initial early cerveza bug lockdowns, and then be met with a very strict order from the local government, which was, if you're not where you say you're going to be, we'll arrest your ass, throw you in the jail. And it was pretty crazy stuff. And to be told, well, what about food? What about water? And they're like, nope, and nope. I was like, what? Yeah, they're like, hey, you're the one that came here, man. We didn't ask you. I'm like, what kind of third world shithole? Oh, yeah, is this? That's what it was like. I'm like, good golly. Well, luckily I had packed. I packed 2 weeks worth of commando chow, SHTF Mad Max chow, and I had a tarp that I hung out. And I remember showing you guys, this is how I collected water, right? And it was a tarp square. I tied it to this tree. I tied it to that tree, tied it here and there, and made it come down to a funnel into a bucket, and captured water. That's how I got water to drink. That's how I got water to bathe. That's how I got water to do my laundry. And I still have those faded shirts that I wore every day, and then would wash, and then would hang them out to dry on a clothesline. It was great. Paracord, got to have paracord for SHTF. I use chlorine bleach tablets for detergent. I just crumble a little bit of pool chlorine into the water to sanitize the water, and then to kill all the germs in my clothes. Some you don't put in too much, or you'll get bleach spots. Make sure you give it at least 2 or 3 hours to dissolve. Otherwise, there'll be a little hot spots burnt in your clothes. But what a trip! I was surprised. I got off the plane and I got all my luggage, and they didn't go through it and go, "What is this tactical tomahawk? Why do you have a bayonet? Why do you have this stuff? What the fuck are you doing here? Why do you have a golf club?" I took my pitching wedge. "Why do you have this stuff? What the hell are you doing, mister?" No, I got off the plane and I was like, "I can't rent a car?" They're like, "Nope, there are no car rentals." I'm like, "Well, how the fuck do I get from the airport to my jungle?" And they're like, "Well, you can get in a taxi." And I was like, "Holy shit, at least I get a taxi." But to get dropped off out of a car on a rainy, cold ass, drizzly, foggy ass day in the jungle, and none of the groundwork was done. There was supposed to be groundwork done, which happened later. When Big Richard, he was one hell of a nice guy. He was the tractor operator that cleared off the RMZ so I could build the deck and the yurt and all that. That was crazy, folks. That was some crazy shit. What a fucking adventure. Wow. Enough of my reminiscing. Shelly, thank you so much. This is Scotch is taking me down memory road. Anyways, let's keep on rolling. Thank you, Shelly and husband, very much. And happy Father's Day to you as well. Jolene, man, where shall we go next? It's Mr. Skylight checking in with a $19.99 super chat donation. And he's got another great quote. I haven't read it, can't see it yet, but I know it's great. And thank you, sir, very much. He says, quote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." This comes from a Roman philosopher and playwright, Seneca. Not the Seneca tribe, but Seneca, the Roman. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. Now, folks, proving oneself, that's kind of a manly macho thing, right? Like my trip to the RMZ. As if I hadn't proven myself enough in life, right? You know, growing up in American high school, when you're small, a freshman, a sophomore, running for your life so you don't get your ass kicked all the time, right? And then getting in good fair and square fights, and then going to Marine Corps boot camp and being a Marine. That's some rough stuff. That's a fucking challenge. That's adversity. And then becoming a father. Talk about proving yourself. Father's Day. Thank you, Mr. Skylight. Proving yourself. I wanted to, wow. Truly, folks, truly. It is through adversity that you find out who you are. It tests your mettle, if you understand that expression. Right? It makes you a stronger man. There's so many people that you and I see out here right now. Think about it. Shit has hit the fan. And we've got all of these woke sissies screaming, "Don't say that. I need a safe space." Remember that safe space? I need a safe space. Then they said, well, it's not that I need a safe space. You need to shut up. You need to stop talking. You can't say that. It's a hate crime. You can't pick on us. We're a protected class. Those freaking sissies, those fruitcakes, those limp-wristed, linguini-spined pussies have not faced adversity. You call them a name, they start crying. They are unhappy, Mr. Skylight. You nailed this one out the park. It's gone. Goodbye, Mr. Spalding. No woke man is more unhappy than these woke people today, right? No man is more unhappy than the woke because they have not faced adversity. They will never prove themselves, folks. All they've proven themselves is to be a bunch of whining, sniveling bitches. But they've got powerful allies in government and in business. Look at these corporations in New York City, these huge investment firms which invest in Home Depot and Lowe's. They invest in, name your company, Amazon, Apple, Netflix. They invest in Tesla. They invest in Ford, Chevy. They invest in all these mega corporate, Caterpillar. They invest in Coca-Cola. They invest in Nike. They invest in everything. And they say, if you don't do environmental, social governance, ESG, if you don't do diversity, equity, inclusion the way we want you to, we'll pull our money from your companies, which will devalue them. These companies should tell him to go to hell. They'll face some adversity, folks. They will. They'll face some adversity, and those companies can prove themselves by standing up and going, no, I think I'm an American. I think I'm about freedom and liberty. I think I'm about protecting children, which is what fathers do. They protect their children and other children from these scumbags, folks. These scumbags. In fact, I've got a story right here. In New York City, folks. Oh, I believe, never mind. I'm just going to stick with this one story. The police department, the PD, are offering a $10,000 reward because an illegal alien, they're calling him a Hispanic male, and they also literally called him an animal, raped a 13-year-old girl in broad daylight at the park. I was appalled when I read this. Fathers better wake up, because what's happening in America now is exactly what happened in Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, the Netherlands, Germany, France, England, Scotland, Ireland, Switzerland, Austria. Shall I continue? Italy, Spain, Portugal, Normandy. Shall I continue? All of those countries have massive issues with rape from these illegals. 13-year-old, they can't defend themselves. They need real men there to protect them. And we need them here in this country now. Fathers, wake the fuck up. It's not just about us as individuals. Now we need to wake up and protect everyone around us. It's crazy. It is breaking my heart what's happening to this country. But we're waking up, and Europe is waking up. But I don't think we need to go so far down the path that Europe has, suffering for over a decade under that type of shit. Crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy. Mr. Uman, Jolene, where do we want to go next? Let's have some fun out there. Let's do it. It is Sunday Night Live, and it's Dan Erickson with another $5 super chat donation. And he says the Republican Party needs a GoFundMe account to sue all the media outlets for their slander, calling us those nasty names. You know what, Dan? I know what you're talking about, man. We need some serious attorneys, and they need to be paid, because I want the best to go after mainstream media for calling us as Americans, us as Republicans, us as conservatives, us as patriots, us as veterans, and us as fathers, for calling us what? White supremacists? Even you fathers who are black, they called you white supremacists. For saying that you are a hate criminal because you oppose them, for calling us neo-Nazis, for saying that people like us are Hitler-esque, that we're, every dirty name in the book. They need to be sued. They lied. They lie about us. They lie, and they need to be called on the carpet for it. They need to be sued. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse has sued the shit out of him. I think we need a class action lawsuit for all of us Christian men and Christian fathers. Oh yeah, they're going after Christians too. They're going after Christians too. Oh, you bet. You absolutely bet your ass. Woo! Right? Get this. Get this, Dan. CNN is harassing Ticketmaster and the venues, the places that are holding gatherings, media. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Entertainment. Tucker Carlson is trying to go on tour, and CNN is harassing Ticketmaster for selling the tickets, and they're harassing the venues, whether it's the Hilton or this super stadium or this arena or this fairground. They're harassing him and telling him to cancel because of his hateful rhetoric. What is hateful about Tucker Carlson? I still think he's kind of milquetoast, if you ask me. Milquetoast. He's not bad. He hasn't done anything. What the hell has he done besides share his opinion and his reality and his free speech, the First Amendment? I say this is corporate financial interference, and it's a crime. In Florida, it's a crime. Did you know that? If you do something to screw with someone else's livelihood, it's a crime. Tortuous interference. And I used to tell people, you fuck with me and my business here, I believe I should be able to sue YouTube for doing what they've done to this channel and many others. YouTube needs to be sued. The old Twitter, now it's X under Elon Musk, needs to be sued. Facebook needs to be sued. Meta needs to be sued. Google needs to be sued. All of them need to be sued. Now, we got a special surprise. Heidi H3 has done a $50 Cash App Super Chat donation right here, Heidi. You guys, everyone should know Heidi. She's been around a long time. When I was in the RMZ, I was wearing a sweaty, nasty shirt, and Ooman decided he was going to put that shirt up for auction, right? And I was going, whoever won the shirt in the auction, and it was to help support the channel and the effort in building the deck, and folks, we did so much great stuff at the RMZ. I want to go back so bad, but I can't. I'm just thinking of vacation, but you know. Anyways, Heidi won. She won the dirty, sweaty shirt. Anyway, she's been around a long time. She's been a great supporter of the channel. Heidi, here's to you. Thank you, Semper Fi, and I appreciate all you have done. Woo! Here we go. It's starting to get crazy and funny. Anyways, thank you. It just reminded me of that when we're doing the RMZ. Ooman, do you remember that, man? Yeah, he's shaking his head. Yeah, that was not planned. What shirt was it? Was it a red Marine Corps shirt? I can't remember what shirt it was. It's been 4 years. There you are.
Oh, I don't remember what the shirt was, man. I remember it started out as a joke, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to sell the shirt off of John's back. Do I hear $5, $5." Then everybody started going crazy with the bidding, and it was hilarious. And do you remember? Yeah. Did you say how much she won it for? I can't even remember what the number was.
Like $120. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was something crazy, but that was totally crazy. Was a fun night.
Yeah. Thank you, Bihana, for the thumbs up. Yeah, that was crazy and funny, and I packaged it up. I did not wash it. I signed it with a felt pen. I packaged it up, and she sent her address through to Jolene. And we got an echo. My voice is coming through your microphone.
Okay, well, then I will turn myself back off. But yeah, that was a great night. Heidi, you are awesome. All you guys out there that have been around forever are awesome. And we've had many good times over the years.
Yeah, great. Good stuff. All right. Thank you, Mr. Ooman. Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon shirt. Holy cow. I forgot about that shirt. Yeah, I got that at the Grand Canyon. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that shirt. Folks, I actually am very sentimental about my t-shirts. I really am. This shirt here, Salt Life, was given to me by Crispy Bacon. I've got a bunch of Old Men Rule shirts and, of course, my Big Johnson shirts. I think I auctioned off some Big Johnson shirts, too. One of them got sent to Jenny Jen in California. And a big hello to Jenny Jen and her son Gray out there, who's turning into quite a young man. I've known them since I lived in extreme Northern California. Anyways, I think she won one of the Big Johnson shirts. Anyways, when you go fishing with a Big Johnson, you can always reel them in. All right, Big Johnson shirts. I don't even know. I don't even know where I'm at or what's going on. I'm starting to get these Scotch confusion. We're at 1 hour and 20 minutes in, folks. We go 2 hours on Sunday Night Live. And, folks, it has hit the fan. I know that we're having a good time. But it is dangerous out there. And I want to make sure I get the message out. Please get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Especially you fathers. You can train your children to use firearms. I have seen quite a bit now, folks. It don't matter. Black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. I've seen videos now of people teaching their kids from like age 4, 5, 6, 10, 12. Heidi, I wish I had seen that before. I want to dedicate that toast to your father, who raised one heck of a young lady. And you've grown into a great person with a big heart, a generous heart, and a loving heart. Thank you, Heidi, and thank you to your dad. That shot was for you. All right, back. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Uman, for putting that up there. Much respect to everyone's father, because you guys are who you are. I know a lot of that has to do with who your dad was and what your dad did and said. And back to fathers teaching their kids to shoot. I have seen a lot of it now. And people going, I think that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that with kids. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Well, I've got a great photo in my photo album that my mom sent me. I was 4 years old. My dad got me a pair of camouflage pants. He got me a belt. He got me a blade, 4-inch knife. He got me my first lever action BB gun. And also a camouflage hat. I believe a camouflage hat. Anyways, I was a little, cotton-haired, toe-headed kid. I was just as blonde then, well, probably more, I don't know. Now. Anyways, the point is I got taught to shoot at 4 years old. It wasn't a weapon, but I'm telling you what, now men, fathers and mothers are teaching their kids to shoot real pistols at age 5, 6, 7, 8, whether they're 9mm or 380. It's incredible to see. And these kids are handling the weapons properly, safely, under very close supervision, of course. And I do recommend that if you have kids, you teach them to respect guns. You need all of those things, and self-defense, and a plan to understand. I shared some of my plans with someone today, and they're like, holy cow, you do have some plans. I was like, oh yeah, you got some plans, right? I've got the bunker. I've got the ability to bug out, right? I've got allies all around me. You've got to have a plan. You've got to start working on people, right? If you go to a sporting goods store, a gun store, shooting range, you go to car shows, these are places you meet. You meet people who think just like us. That's where you meet people just like us to form allies and friendships, etc. Now, wow. I have to water that scotch down a little bit there. Okay, let's do it. Let's have some more fun. Let's do some more super chats. Let's get back into it. And it's Bioxo77 with a $1.99 super chat donation. He says, there's a new Cerveza variant, KP3. Laughing out loud at these names. I caught this thing the other day, and right now, because of the the Scotch stuff, I kind of lost it. But the variant names of Cerveza bug, the Delta and the Omicron, look those words up. Those words were used years ago to describe other things. Other things. The Delta and the Omicron were also Cerveza variant names. And the Delta, oh my God. Delta, give me a break. Omicron sounds like a monster off of Godzilla, right? Oh, Godzilla, Omicron. Oh no, Omicron. Nope, sorry, not scary. KP3? What is that? The name of a small hill in in the Appalachians? Well, I couldn't climb K2, but I climbed KP3. Not scared, not afraid. Bring it on, bitches. And all of those left-wing bitches can go line up and get more boosters. All right. Thank you, Jolene. Ooh, man, who is next? Who wants to say something? And it's Chelsea Pulsing with a $49.99 super chat donation. And she says, Happy Father's Day, John, and all the other fathers on here. Here we go. I'm starting to pay the price and starting to fall off the edge here. But it is Father's Day, and I have to thank you all for the great support. Chelsea, this one's going to put me over the edge, and I appreciate it. Another Glenlivet 15 single malt Scotch whiskey. And it helps, folks. Don't try this at home. I am an experienced Scotch drinker. I've been doing this for 35 years-ish. And I got to tell you, I was going to say something interesting here. Oh, yeah. I'm 280 pounds. So I can do twice as much as the average bear out there. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you to everyone. Semper Fi. God bless America. I love this country. I love America. I love our Constitution. I love our Constitution. Thank you, Chelsea, so much. I am so screwed. Okay, we're at an hour and a half. 30 minutes left in the show. What do you guys want to talk about? What's on your mind? I want to know. You don't have to do a $50 super chat. You don't have to. You can just do regular super chats. But, we need your support. You guys make free speech happen. You guys encourage me. You guys support me. If it wasn't for you, I think no one gives a shit. Nobody cares about the message. I want you to get prepared, and I want you to get active out there. I want you to wake people up, friends and family, coworkers. I want you to volunteer in this coming election to protect us from these communist pricks trying to steal our elections. And more people are coming out, and they're getting arrested for election interference. I'm talking about Democrats for cheating, for stuffing ballot boxes, for certifying things they shouldn't have. These people are scum, and they're getting nailed for it. Good. Okay, Jolene, who's up next? Who's got a super chat donation? It's Dan Erickson with a $5. And, oh, shit. Dan talked about his father teaching him how to swim, one of his earliest memories, if not the earliest. He says, my grandpa taught me all about guns when I was 8 years old. 8. He says, my dad had a hunting rifle, a 1953 Winchester Model 94 and 30-30. Still have it. That's awesome, man. I tell you what, my grandfather had a Model 94 30-30 Winchester lever action that was bought before he passed away, obviously. Beautiful gun. When my grandfather passed away, it went to my father. And he had it for many years. And my father's still alive, by the way. And I said Happy Father's Day to him today. And then that 30-30 came to me. And now that 30-30 is belongs to my son, Lucas. 4 generations. 4 generations. Winchester Model 94, folks. That's one hell of a gun. A lot of people bitch about the 30-30 being anemic. Well, yeah, it's not a flat shooter like a 270 or 6mm, but it's a 30-30, and it's one hell of a cartridge. It's been around a long time, and the Winchester as a repeating firearm was the first popularized rifle. It won the West. It was an incredible rifle. It still is an incredible rifle. And in fact, They have now become tactical. That's right. You can get a lever action with adjustable, collapsible stock, right? All black, all matted out, laser sighting, whatever you want, man. That's just, I love seeing that because it is a great rifle. I don't have mine anymore, as I said. I passed it on to my son. And now my son, of course, has his son. And he has a great name, by the way. My grandson's name is Clayton. Clayton. What a great name. I am so proud of my son. Anyways, I'm all, what do you call that? And my son said, stop being so sentimental, Dad. I am so sentimental. It kills me, man. Hearing about fathers and dads and grandfathers and growing up and what their dads meant to them on this Father's Day. But I'll tell you what, every one of us, man, woman, every one of us, black, Hispanic, Asian, white, it don't matter. Every one of us are going to look to the people who have survived this time in America and remember us for what we're going to do because we have to do it. The fathers that are going to live through this and the fathers that will come after this are going to be able to tell their children, their sons and daughters, what happened. And Father's Day will continue. It'll continue. Anyways, thank you again for another great super chat, Dan. And Jolene, who is next up on this Prepared Mind channel. And it is Esther Krieger with a $22 super chat donation. And Esther, the RMZ is still top secret. It's top secret because I can go back there anytime I want. In fact, my neighbor there, Phil and Heather, they said they want me to come back. And I said, not yet. I'm still got some responsibilities here in the United States. I wish I could tell you. Go ahead. And if you want, Esther, go ahead and throw another question up because it's a great super chat donation. But I can tell you it was further south from where I'm at now. And it's obviously close to the water. And let me put that picture back out. Take a look at that water. It's deep on that side at that part, right? That deep blue water. Beautiful. And it's tropical. This is it's a very unclear picture I was sent. I don't know if it was raining. That could be a rainy ass day there. And there's the yurt, which is barely visible through the jungle, depending on what angle you're at. What's my point here? Oh, I can't say it. I can't tell. A lot of people know, but for the most part, 99.9% of people who know about the RMZ don't know where it's at. I could return there, like I said, anytime I want. The Americans that live there liked me a lot. The natives, if you will, liked me a lot, and it was pretty funny. And there's a great story that goes with that, but I can't share it other than to say, you know, my Icelandic heritage convinced them that I was a good guy. For some reason, right? People who get a really good tan thought I was an okay kind of guy. Anyways, let's continue if we shall. Folks, there's so much crazy stuff, but I'm in a great mood. You guys have put me in a great mood. It is Sunday Night Live. Shit has hit the fan. We're all prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. What if you're at work and something crazy happens? Let's just say Biden keeps telling Ukraine, launch missiles into Russia. And Russia's like, well, fuck it. Let's launch the missile in the U.S. What if your city gets hit? What if Atlanta gets hit? What if Jacksonville gets nastified? Right? What if Dallas or Houston? What if, right, Baltimore gets cracked with a couple hypersonics? What are you going to do if those are your cities that get hit? Like I said, I'm in Florida and I have got no worries. I'm prepared. I don't need to be scared. Hey, I made a rhyme. Like Fezzik. Inigo Montoya, just like Fezzik. Okay, Mr. Man, Jolene, I don't know who's in charge anymore. Chin Music is back with a $9.99 super chat donation. And he says, today's t-shirt selection has a picture of Mickey Mouse, and it says, quote, kill your local pedophile. I know you've got to use the $sign, and you had to misspell that word there, pedophile, because YouTube would probably censor it. And someone tell Esther to get another question up. Anyways, Mr. Music, you continue to impress me with your complete disregard for the feelings of the woke. I'm glad you used Mickey Mouse. I'm glad. In fact, earlier today, as I was heading back out from training. Anyways, there was a person standing in line at the store. And I looked at the back of the swollen cankles, and there was a tattoo of the Princess Castle at Disneyland. And I thought, who the fuck would get that? It's almost screaming. I mean, and here in Florida, it's funny. There's people, they got Disney bumper stickers all over their cars. Maybe it's because, of Orlando and living near it. But I'm thinking, it is so associated now with perverted pedophile crap. Why would anyone want that? I mean, I know you've got kids, right? My kids. I took my kids to Disney World, folks, years and years ago, back in 2010 or 11. I can't remember. They were just kids, right? I didn't know about all this pedophile shit way back then. But why would you do that? Shit, I just had another thought too. Anyways, kill your local pedophile. That probably, people are like, Mickey Mouse, yeah, oh, no, woo, right? Once again, Chin Music gets in their face, lets them know what he thinks, raises the question, makes him think. And also, folks, if I remember correctly, he says the t-shirts he wears, like liberals suck, it starts conversations. It starts conversations. It does. In fact, the Star Wars franchise was purchased from George Lucas. Is George Lucas a billionaire? Was he a billionaire after he sold it? He sold it to Disney. They now have the latest episode. They call their show the Acolyte. It's like another Star Wars version of stories. Space lesbian witches. Space lesbian witches are now part of Walt Disney World in the Star Wars franchise. Space witches doing a ceremonial witch chant to impregnate another witch with another Jedi, Skywalker, Sith, or something. And folks, they're being roasted for it. People are criticizing and walking away from Disney going, what the hell is this shit? And Star Wars, it used to, the first three were about, Star Wars, defeating evil. And now it's like, holy crap. Crazy stuff, folks. Anyways, Chin Music, kill your local pedophile. I am not telling anyone to do anything violent, dangerous, harmful, or illegal. But if that were to happen, and I've seen it now, folks, I've seen it in social media. People have had it with these fuckers. They get drug into court, and before they get into court or after they come out of the court, they're in handcuffs and they get capped. People are capping them. They're busting a cap in their ass. Whether it's a 9 or a 40 or a 45, they're letting them have it. Absolutely letting them have it. I watched a video of a man doing a beatdown on a dude who is perving and trying to groom his daughters. And he caught him on his property and wailed on him, folks. The tide is turning, but it's not going to be easy. I need everyone to politically wake up and fight these bastards, this New World Order, these Illuminati types, the World Economic Forum, eat the bugs, you'll own nothing and you'll like it. Those guys. Anyways, Jolene, man, have we got another super chat donation? What's going on? We got Boomer's back with another $20 super chat Canadian donation. Ooh, he says, I own a Colt King Cobra and a CZ Shadow 1. Now the Colt, the King Cobra, that's a badass pistol there. You guys know I've got a 686 Smith, which is got the big giant heavy bull barrel, the lugged barrel. Like the Cobra, the Python is the one I'm most familiar with. Colt makes some really nice revolvers. And the CZs were great pistols too. Of course, I like the old Colt 1911 A1, and I've got my Gold Cup as well. I love that stuff, man. We can do pistol talk here, Boomer. Anyways, he says, only to be put in the trunk of the car to the gun club. Being caught carrying in Canada means license revoked and straight to jail. Keep your Second Amendment. Isn't that fascinating, folks? Isn't that fascinating? If you own a pistol or a rifle, you've got to have a permit, a license just to own it in Canada. And then you're only allowed to take it. It has to be unloaded, of course, put in the trunk of the car, and you can only shoot it at the gun club. But at least you have it, Boomer. And God bless you if Canada has a meltdown moment and you need to be the one to protect the people in your life, your world, and even your community. Because there's not as many guns in Canada as there are in America. And his advice is both sage and timely. Keep your Second Amendment. Second Amendment, folks, was not bestowed upon us by the government. The Constitution did not give us the Second Amendment in America. The Constitution was shoved down the throat of the government in the Second Amendment to tell it shall not be infringed. The right of the people, capital R, the right of the people to keep, meaning own, and bear, meaning carry, to keep and bear arms. Arms meaning pistols, rifles, shotguns, muskets, if you wish. Black powder, smokeless powder, cartouches, muzzle loader. I don't care what you got, it's yours. Right? The government can't take it away. Other people can't take it away. We can give it up like idiots. But I'm going to take your advice, Boomer, and keep the Second Amendment right where it's at, in the face of the government, at the federal and the state and the local level. It is the law, the real law with a capital L, not some stupid statute. The Second Amendment only recognizes it and tells the government, thou shalt not touch. Thou shalt not infringe. And they had another huge victory for us just last week. Did we not get it? The bump stocks are back. Fuck you, ATF, Department of Homeland Security, all of you in the government. You don't get the touch. No touch. No touch. Love it. Love my ARs, all of them. Love it. Love my pistols, all of them. We've got about 15 minutes left. Jolene, who's up next? We've got Dan Erickson with $2 super chat. Says, good one, Chin. Kill your local pedophile. Folks, I want to make this clear. If you go into the sex offender database, those are sex offenders. They could be child molesters, they could be rapists, or they could be a guy who took a piss on a squad car or on someone's car outside, or got drunk and wound up naked in public. I don't know. Not every one of those people are pedophiles. I can't remember because I haven't really looked in a long time whether it says what their crime was. But make sure if you're out to reward those who deserve it, make sure you know which one they committed, so you can at least look them in the eye. I tell you, folks, I ran into one once on a job site in California. I was building a house. And this guy kept showing up every day, just walking down the street, talking and chit-chatting, nice guy. And then I like looked him up, and I was like, holy shit, that dude's in the sex offender registry. And he came back by, and I said, hey, dude, you're a pedophile. Get the fuck out of here. And he says, no, I'm not a pedophile. I said, oh, okay, well, you're still a sex offender. Get the fuck out of here. And that was it, right? He learned, that was his lesson. I didn't have to tell him more than once. Once, anyways. If you don't stop them, they'll keep coming. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, I tell you. All right, Jolene, man, who's up next? And it's Esther Krieger with another $20 super chat donation. Another 20. Holy cow. No problem. It's on a need-to-know basis, and we don't need to know. Right. Thank you and beyond. Love your show. Esther, you're still not asking a question. You don't have to do another super chat to ask a question. If you've got a question, a comment, a statement, a prediction, a concern, whatever. But yeah, the need to know basis, it just is. It just is for lots of different small, funny reasons. But it just is. If you go, and people used to guess everywhere around the world. Uman used to hear a lot of people think it was the Azores. Some people thought it was Southeast Asia. Other people thought I was in Tahiti. A lot of people thought I was in Central or South America. It was kind of funny in a way to play that game, Esther. It was a lot of fun. And I had a great friend named Esther years and years ago. She married a childhood friend of mine named Mitch. And Mitch was a great friend of mine from 6th grade on. But I knew him in 5th grade. And he was Indian. American Indian, and so I nicknamed him Chief, and I called him Chief. That was for years and years I called him Chief, and then I started calling other people Chief, and there was never any bad blood, never any bad stuff. It's just that's who he was. That's who, and I loved Mitch, and I hope he's doing well, and I hope that same Esther is doing well. Haven't talked to them in a long time. It's just that friendship, it didn't break. It just got destroyed by a very destructive third-party person. But I pray that they are well and that their family is good and strong. All right. Thank you, Esther Krieger, very much for the donation and for the understanding. And do a question. Jolene Uman, where else are we going to go? We got, oh, Jesus. Chelsea Polzing is back with another $49.99 super chat. She says, thank you, John and Uman and everyone that puts this show on. God bless America and the Constitution. Glenn Levitt. Here we are. Chelsea Polzing, thank you very much for the great support. I don't know how many brain cells you're going to kill tonight. But here's to you. Here's to everyone who loves America, loves the Constitution, loves freedoms. Even our non-American friends in Canada and Mexico, Australia. Oh, shoot. We used to have people check in from Argentina. I've got great friends in Brazil. Over in Europe, we have Remy in the Netherlands. We've got our friends in Belfast, Ireland. And, of course, Scotland and jolly old England across the pond there. We've had some great contributors to the show and friends of the show and patriots and lovers of liberty and life. God bless you all. Semper Fi and down the hatch. Oh, man, I'm going to pay. Woo, it's like mother's milk. Good golly, Ms. Molly. Okay, Chelsea, thank you very much. I'm trying to be as gracious and articulate as I can and get the message out. I have, and I spend hours during the day thinking about what America is about. What is life about? Am I doing it right? Right? Are we doing the right thing? Is this show the right thing to do? And I think it is, because we've woken up, you and I, all of you and us, we've woken up thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of Americans. They may not like me. They may not like you, but we've sent them and given them the messages, and they've got the messages, and all they have to do is listen to the message and then look around. Just look around. And look at the left, the Democrats. They hate America. They hate fathers. Remember years ago when they were trying to say we don't need fathers? They hate fathers. They hate America. They hate the Constitution. It's just a piece of paper. In fact, this is crazy. It just reminded me of this. It just reminded me. You're not going to believe this crap. You're not going to believe this. CNN is absolutely insane. They say it's a conspiracy theory to say that America is a republic and not a democracy. Did you know that? They're now saying it's a conspiracy theory to say America is a republic. I'm pretty sure I remember the Pledge of Allegiance. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all of us Americans. It wasn't, and to the democracy for which it stands. A democracy is 5 wolves and 4 sheep voting on who gets eaten for dinner. A democracy is majority rule, and they vote on everything. Everything is voted on, and majority wins every time. That's a democracy. It's also called mobocracy, and it's incredibly dangerous. And for CNN, the communist clown news network, to come up with this, it's complete insanity. I can't even wrap my brains around it. To say it's a conspiracy theory. These people, they want to take it away from us, folks. They want to try saying it's a conspiracy theory. They want to say the First Amendment has limits or it should just be destroyed. The Second Amendment, they keep fucking up, and it goes to the Supreme Court, and they smash down state rules and local rules shall not be infringed. How hard is that to understand? Full auto, you bet. Full auto pistols, why not? Full auto shotguns, bring it on. If you can afford a tank, buy it. If you can afford a Browning machine gun, buy it. A belt-fed machine gun, buy it. An M60, you bet. That's right, Joe Biden. We don't need AR-15s. We need M60s. I could do that one in each hand thing. I'm a big enough guy. Anyways, Chelsea, how did I get all the way back to guns there? All right, Jolene Uman. Who's next? It's Dan Erickson again. With a $5 super chat donation. He says, I can't afford a $50 super chat tonight. Brother, you've done a lot, man. You've done a lot. He says he bought some ammo today, and it's way too expensive compared to 8 years ago. And I hear you, man. I hear you. The Bidenomics effect is incredibly painful. And I've looked at the information. I've got the charts, and I think it's worse than they're saying even. Like I said, I went to the store today, and some things, they're cheaper. Or the BOGO. I live off of buy one, get one, folks. Last week, they had Spam. Spam! So all the super chats that put Spam and tuna fish and scotch, right, in the Prepared Mind pantry, you bet. Spam all the way. Why doesn't Publix in Florida sell ammunition? They sell alcohol. I think they sell tobacco. Well, there's one, alcohol, tobacco, firearms. They should be selling firearms, damn it. They should. Anyways, Dan, thanks, man. Thank you. Seriously, thank you very much for your great support and for bringing your questions, your thoughts, your comments, everything to the show. We got just a little bit of time left, folks. Let me see if I can see the clock. 5 minutes to go. But if there's super chat donations, I'll stay until I get through them all. Who's up next? We've got Esther Krieger. She says, you're still awesome and the shows, and you deserve every penny. Keep it up. Hours every day going to this show, Esther. And I'm not bragging. I'm not complaining. But I spend hours reading the news. I spend hours keeping current in preparation. And the reason I do it is because you guys work your asses off. America works its ass off, and people don't have time. They don't have time to go through all the news and parse it and look for stuff, and then try and read through it and read the headlines, and then what is reading between the lines. And so I like to do that and bring it all to everybody. I can handle it. I can digest it. It doesn't drive me nuts. It doesn't make me crazy. It doesn't stress me out, because I've been prepared a long time for this, and I keep up with it. And so it's easier for me than it is for the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that show up every week for the show to get the news that they want to know about. And I'm trying to keep it together, Esther. The deserving every penny. Jolene works hard. Ooman works hard. I know you guys all work hard, and thank you for the great support. And I appreciate the compliment that I'm awesome. I work hard to stay so. In fact, Inigo Montoya was dueling the Dread Pirate Roberts, and he says, "You're incredible." He says, "I've worked hard to become so." That's when they were both fighting left-handed in the swords. It's a callback to earlier. Love that movie. Anyways, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it to me. And I thank you, and I will keep it up. Thank you. Jolene says there's one more super chat out there right at the end of the show, and it is oh my gosh. Here we go. Soft Kitty 9 with a $50 into the show super chat donation. And this one's it's done me in, to quote Eliza Doolittle. It's done me in. 15-year French oak barrel reserve, by the way. And I got to tell you, this is impressive, folks. I ate a big handful of peanuts. And if you know and understand drinkology, peanuts do something to your stomach so that your body slowly absorbs this stuff. But here we are. Soft Kitty, thank you very much. Everybody, Semper Fi. God bless. Down the hatch. Prost, cheers, salut. Oh, that's good. Reminds me of Indiana Jones, right? Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they drink at the beginning and then they peanuts, you crazy bastard, you. Peanuts. Anyways, he drank and he turned the shot. It's a drinking game. Soft Kitty says, all those congressmen who had stock in the war passed the draft recently. We need to learn their names and harass the hell out of them. They are anti-American. Grrr. What is Soft Kitty talking about? I know exactly what Soft Kitty's talking about. You want to know? The Democrats and scumbags who have invested their money in military industrial complex corporations. Name them. Pratt and Whitney, McDonnell Douglas, Raytheon, Bechtel. I'm trying to think of more. I can't. Yeah, they're investing. I mean, they've already depleted much of our own U.S. military stockpiles of artillery shells, ammunition, equipment. General Dynamics, there's another one for you. Their names are known. They're being listed in social media. Look them up and share it. And let's get these people out of office. They have decided that if you're age 18 to 26, you are now automatically in the draft. You don't have to have a draft card. They're just automatic. If they want you to go to war, they will put you in the military now. What war? What war? What war? The war that Russia is fighting against Ukraine? That war? That one that the United States and European Union, NATO wants to fight? What business is it of the American people? It's not. It is the U.S. government, the corporate U.S. government in Washington, D.C. That's who they are, folks. And these insider trading scumbag politicians. Remember Martha Stewart, little old cute house decorating Martha Stewart, she got thrown in prison for insider trading. But congressmen, and women like Nancy Pelosi, multi-millionaires. And if you knew how much money former Senator Dianne Feinstein made, her husband was a billionaire. Guess how he made his money? Investing in things that the United States government just happened to be interested in. Enough of that. Folks, they want a war so bad. They want to draft us. Remember that little cretin, that piece of shit, Voldemort Zelensky, said, if you don't keep fighting and giving us money, your sons and daughters are going to have to come over here and fight Russia. No, fuck that. There's no reason for Americans to go fight Russians. Not a single reason. Oh, if they piss Russia off enough and Russian missiles are launched in the U.S., is that what's going to happen? Is that the path they see? No, I'm pissed, folks. I may be lit, but I'm pissed as well. That they're going to push Russia so hard that Russia finally says, that's it. Go ahead, Cuba, fire away. That's it. Go ahead, Mexico, fire away. That's it, Iran, fire away. I tell you what, it's bullshit, folks. The whole thing stinks to high heaven. And this November, you and I have a chance to put an end to this shit. And it's in voting, folks. It hasn't worked real well until the last couple of years. Europe is now seeing their votes make a difference. Their votes are making a difference. Thank you. Thank you very much, Soft Kitty, for the great donation, for that great last scotch. And I am toast. What? No, you're not allowed to quit, man. Man says, I thought I was going to have to tender my resignation. Why would you tender your resignation? I'm bringing you on. What the hell are you talking about?
I misunderstood what you said about having a big handful of peanuts before the show.
Peanuts, not penis. A big handful of penis in my. No,
I was going to say I thought I knew John better than that.
You do. You know me perfectly well. Perfectly well. That's it. No more peanut. No peanut. I'm not eating any more peanuts from now on. It's almonds only. Almonds only. Anyways, thank you, Mr. Uman, for everything you do. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to all you mothers who.
Father's Day. Happy Mother. Now you got me confused. I'm laughing so hard. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Happy Father's Day, John, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Well, tomorrow morning, 0 dark 30. I'll see you guys back here.